When you think about prophets in the Bible, you probably picture some sort of fortune teller with a crystal ball, someone who tells the future. But in the Bible, prophets like Ezekiel, Daniel, and Jonah were way more than just fortune tellers. They were God's messengers to the people, who spoke to them on God's behalf. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1 to 2 talks about how in the past God spoke to his people in different ways and at different times through the mouths of prophets. Now, sometimes that included telling the future, but more often it involved telling the people, leaders, and kings that they had failed to live up to their role in the nation. Prophets often lived very difficult lives because people don't like to hear that the way they're living is wrong. They were often hated, punished, and rejected for telling the people the things that God had asked them to. Instead, the people turned to false prophets, whose message wasn't from God, wasn't consistent with the things that he'd said in the past, but it made the people feel comfortable with the way that they were living. Now, did you know that Jesus was a prophet? That same verse that we looked at, Hebrews 1, verse 1 to 2, says that just like God spoke in time past through the mouths of prophets, he has also in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, Jesus. That means that as we read through the Gospels and we read the words of Jesus, it's as if we're reading a direct message from God. As such, it's up to us to decide whether or not we want to listen. We can be like the people in the nation who despised and rejected him because of his difficult words, or we can listen closely and carefully and respond to the things that God has asked us to do.